Maybe we just handshake here with SMLZ playing Ashe in game 1.
Yeah, that seems to be the way forward. Plus, then you've got yourself that jungle rotation here as well. You can go back towards the Lee Sin for Hacker. Did look pretty good in the early stage. Oh, sorry, the Lee Sin's gone anyway, but you can still go towards something with high priority here for Hacker. He has been tending a lot towards the Trundle recently, but Trundle definitely falling out of meta with a couple of the nerfs that have gone his way. So we have to see if he just goes towards the Olaf, which has been the other go-to for him in a lot of situations.
But you get a strong pick for Icon once again. He did excel at this in game number 1. He can be paired pretty nicely with the Trundle, but it depends on what Hacker's feeling. Hacker's been a jungler who's tended one way in a meta. He's just kind of found 2 picks and rolled with it. One of those picks in the Trundle is still open. Hacker on your screen thinking about it. You mentioned the Olaf. Has fit his style a lot better in the past. There we go.
It also gives you a super strong mid-jungle 2v2 because you got the Syndra there to set up for these ganks with Scatter the Weeks. Even if you have one of these Undertows land, it makes it a lot easier again for that stun to come through from Syndra. So you'll have to see here what FPX want to try and go for, because I'll imagine that with Hacker on this Olaf, there'll be a lot of attention towards that mid lane, if not continuing the pressure towards Curse in that top lane.
You see though, Tien was thinking about what he wants to do. The Nidalee is on the board. Instead, the Trundle going to be picked up. All right. Well, one of the few regions still looking at Trundle very seriously here, while Chris, his best champion in the past, has been this Thresh. He's going to show us if he's still got it in game 2.
Pairs super well with the Aphelios as well, giving him those reposition options that are super nice in team fights, and also a little bit of peel, which would be really nice if OMG are looking for this kind of dive-heavy composition, which we usually see paired with this Olaf. Something like a Wukong or something often ends up going towards Curse when Hacker goes towards this Olaf pick, but we are going to have to see if we are going to have that. Okay.
Oh, yes. Now, Icon's already got Syndra, so that will be for SMLZ bot. This is something with Cold that he played heavily in 2017 spring and summer playoffs.
I will hold on for a second,
because
there is the potential here. So Syndra actually does super well against the Felios in the bot lane. It's a really
bot.
good counter.
Okay.
So there is the potential here for SMLZ to take that Syndra bot lane, and then you go with the Kog'Maw mid. But also very brave to blind the Kog'Maw mid. So I think you are right. Hysterics will more than likely see SMLZ pick up that Kog'Maw bot with the Syndra going mid.
You know what the problem is? For a lot of these teams, they aren't willing to flex the Syndra bot, hence my suspicions. We will see, though. I like you bring that up. It's a very important point, chat. Keep your eyes on where the Syndra's going to go. As we start banning away some of the solo liners that could influence this game, Doombee's Rumble, very prevalent in his solo queue games. So is his Silas, as we were talking about the other day, but Orianna going to be taken away first. And now we wait and see what direction OMG go for. Because they got a solo laner and a support to be picked up.
I'm also really curious about that support role. Because, like, in ye old times when Kog'Maw was super meta, it used to be the Lulu, that we'd see a lot. Now, you have seen the Twitch Yuumi played over in the LEC, this hyper carry, but that was still more so because you got this, like, camouflage into the Yuumi, which worked super well as well. So I'm curious to see what Cole decides to go with to pair here, because you are against a relatively aggressive lane in the Thresh and that Aphelios. So you'll have to pick something that can keep you safe. It's not like you can just go for the Yuumi and forego any sort of lane presence.
Okay, Tom Kench doesn't tell us anything. So we wait and see for that final pick. And for OMG, this could be absolute genius if this rolls into their favor. But FPX, let's see what those solo laners are. Because Gimgoon's on the team. His GP is available, but a very different composition that FPX are running in this game.
So the thing for Kog'Maw, though, is he likes to be able to set up, sit still, and just free fire. That's where he shines. The issue when I look towards the FPX composition, if they're going to go towards the Ornn, which they actually weren't, is you're not... Okay, so... I'm actually not the biggest fan of this for FPX. I wanted to see them go towards the Ornn because you can do super well against the Kog'Maw in that you have so many pillars and terrain movement when you've got the likes of the Trundle, you got the Ornn there, you got the Call of the Forge God, which can disrupt this Kog'Maw standing still, and then you can all dive in on top of him and it becomes really difficult for him to work with. I think it could have worked really well with that Ornn. Now, though, going with the Renekton here for Gimgoon, well, you're not really guaranteed to get in on top of this composition from OMG. same when it comes to Tien. You're trying to run them down, but between Scatter the Weaks, Undertows, now the Cannon Barrage for Curse as well, who Curse is a phenomenal Gangplank player as well. He's got a bunch of solo kills on this champion. It's making it a lot more difficult for FPX to operate and dive in onto SMLZ. When SMLZ has this Tam Kench here, he's always capable of repositioning and setting him up a lot better.
So I was waiting for that time. I was staring there the whole time, waiting for the swap that never came through. It will be SMLZ piloting the Cogmore. Of course, in the LEC by G2, none other than themselves have picked the AP Cogmore mid, which we saw with Seraphs and Leandries and the full AP extent that did a bucket load of damage with the ulti. But SMLZ in the past, he's been very much a hyper carry, 80 carry. Also with his pocket pick Jhin. SMLZ is a really fun player to watch if you've never sat down and seen his glory days. Again, 2017 OMG when he was on this team with Five, who's now called Cold, which is his support at the moment. So SMLZ is going to show us if this Cogmore is going to do any good. Did pick it out one game in spring last split, and it was not successful. So he's going to see if he can get towards that later game stage. Because, of course, GP, got the Syndra, we've got the Cog. OMG changing things up in game number 2. While for FPX, I see a standard LPL draft with a Renekton Galio and an Aphelios by its side. Will it be enough to get them a clean 2-0 to end this series? Or do OMG have what it takes to take us to the game 3 with Cogmore debuting on the Rift here in LPL 2020 summer?
We certainly have seen a few Cogmores in the LPL this play. I mean, we got iBoy who tried to play it as well. That also didn't quite work out. So SMLZ, oh, hang on, wait. He's gone Comet, and he's got a Dorn. This is still AP Cogmore.
Okay.
Okay, so this is actually still the AP Cogmore. Usually when we see the attack on hit Cogmore, it's more so with the lethal tempo. So going towards both the Doran's Ring and also going towards his Arcane Comet means it is AP Cogmore. So he'll be maxing the E, trying to get this wave clear, and trying to be much more of a nuisance with his ultimate, trying to pick off the likes of LWX, who is going to struggle to get into these team fights now because you've got Aryles that'll eventually be built on SMLZ. The Cannon Barrage is a real nuisance for this Aphelios as well. So I'm glad that we finally get to see this AP Cogmore on the LPL.
I mean, this is curious because it changes the dynamic of the comp, right? The separation, the poke here from OMG. If they get set up and they get space against FPX, then FPX will just get shredded.
And look how easy it is, right? I mean, you've got the Cannon Barrage to create space. You've got the Scatter the Weak to do so as well. The Cogmore slow off that E as well, alongside Aryles eventually being finished, is going to create so many slows. And we already talked about, look, FPX are going to struggle to engage onto this composition. You're really relying on a hook from Crisp to start things off, but otherwise, you haven't really got this guaranteed engage apart from a flank and Doomby coming in on top of it.
You can also fall flat though, Dagda, so I'm waiting to see how we go. As you mentioned, the runes at the bottom of your screen with Gathering Storm for the scaling potential. A lot of mana with the mana flow band, the Presence of Mind alongside it. So SMLZ wants to start poking out, getting some of those stacks here on the mana flow band. Started with the red carpet, which is now blue. As Tien's coming mid. Well, let's get ready because it's a flash shield of Duran. Icon doesn't have a chance to burn his own summoner. Flashes back towards the enemy turret. Icon doesn't want to go home, and I'm not sure why he flashed towards FPX's turret, but he will get first blooded.
Oh, big mistake there from Icon. Not quite able to deal with Doomby. The second you saw that flash, you just needed to flash away. Like, it's trading flash for flash. You end up nullifying that whole TP, or at least gank play, but Hacker's coming in now.
It's going to be the reverse gank. Scatter the Weak onto Doomby. Tien's going to try and persuade as Justice Punch gets him away. Hacker just trying to poke him out and help push the wave. The first blood over to FPX nets a Goldly one. Tien's going to duel him. Hacker's walking in with double buffs though. Olaf getting low because Chris knows that he can land the hook and Hacker will die. Death Sentence flushed away from, and proactive FPX as Icon wants something to say.
Cold had started to move up, but it's all going to be slowing down a little bit in towards this mid lane, but still good plays here from FPX. They managed to get the kill, they get away from that play as well, and Tien will be able to just return towards his jungle and move up towards his top side to collect a Scuttle Crab of his own.
Big start here for FPX. Cold moving back to bottom lane. LWX is at near half health, walking into lane. There's a lot of poke available here from SMLZ and Cold. A dodge away, that doesn't really net a dodge in the end. You can already see SMLZ and Cold. 1 versus 2 is not going to be fun for LWX, but Chris now back to lane himself.
So when we look at these compositions, right, we're obviously seeing in the Felios, we're seeing that he needs time to scale, he needs to get into this game. But we are seeing Doomby and Gimgoon definitely being the focal point for FPX in this early game, as TN wants to go and demonstrate by playing towards mid again, because they want to try and solidify the top half of the map while this Kog'Maw is scaling the bottom side, because both Curse and SMLZ would need a good bit of time to get these items underneath the belt. So I think this is going to be a slower paced game for the moment, unless we can see Doomby making a lot of plays towards this top side, even potential dives onto Curse underneath his tower.
We see Curse with a pretty decent CS advantage. Oh, it's not an advantage, what am I saying? You know what I'm trying to say, Dagda. He's held in CS. As game one, we saw that Gimgoon fell behind quite a bit early, and Curse on the Renekton, the reverse matchup, was doing well in the first 20 minutes of the game.
There was a lot more pressure coming in from junglers in that matchup, though. So, look, at the moment, Curse is doing a relatively good job. He's holding the wave in a position as well where it's not quite crashing underneath his structure, but it's making it a lot more difficult for Gimgoon to try and trade against them. He'll be able to just take a relatively poor trade, though, trying to hold the wave in that position, which means that then Curse will be forced to back, TP in towards top lane, and might have given the opportunity here for TN to start up this dragon off the cliff.
It is Tier with the teleport for SMLZ walking back, and now backing away from the bottom side. You can see Tien is on this dragon. He started up a bit before. Cold's going to stop the back himself. The Dark Passage gets Tien out as he secures the first dragon in FPX with a small lead as well. This is a much better early game, much cleaner so far for FunPlus Phoenix.
So a lot of this is all going to kick off when we get to kind of the 20-minute mark, or the 15 to 20-minute mark, where, okay, there's a couple of items that have been picked up by SMLZ because he's going to go towards that Seraphs. He needs a little bit of time to get himself in order. Going to be working more than likely towards that Liandry's Torment after, with the potential to go towards O'Reilly's Crystal Scepter. We've also seen people just go straight towards the Rabadon's Death Cap instead after that. But you are looking definitely towards SMLZ and having a lot more items to pick up, and it'll be around that 20-minute mark where he's kind of towards that second item, but still that feels like the time where FPX will be trying to make things happen.
Dagger going to cut you off, sorry, as Gimgoon going to get the stun down. Orange is used before Curse has the damage back into the Cannon Barrage. Gimgoon has flash available for the turn, but doesn't want to take it yet. You can see the all-in once we hit that 6. Renekton feels something as Tien's coming top. Will be spotted out by a ward. Oh no, Curse, okay.
No, we'll be able to back away. But look, Tien is putting a lot more pressure towards his lanes while Hacker is just farming up. He's now hit that level 6 point. So there is the opportunity now for Hacker to start making more of these proactive plays in the maps, because obviously when we look towards Hacker, with the way we're talking about this gameplay working from OMG, where they want to be kiting back, they want to be keeping FPX at range, the undertows are great for that, but Hacker is most certainly going to fall off. So his strongest point right now is to try and get into lanes, use the fast clear that he has, and just get towards these lanes quicker than Tien can and make something work for OMG.
The ability to set up another strong 2 versus 2 with mid at the very least, with Sintra and the Olaf. LWX gets licked a little bit as he sets up for the first bit of turret plating. His turret helps quite a lot with that, actually. Actually doesn't too much damage. Gimgoon topside going to get turret plating as well. And for FPX, they're pushing ahead by 600 gold here at 7 minutes in the game.
And Gimgoon can now use this pressure that he has top, plus the fact that LWX will provide far more consistent damage in these team fights. FPX can just turn over towards this Rift Herald, secure that for themselves, crack open this top lane structure ASAP, because Gimgoon has been doing a great job of shoving in these waves, and it makes it at least the game speed up a little bit in favor of this FPX line.
I will say though, for SMLZ, he's hit 6 and you can start seeing the damage coming out. Now, of course, for anyone who didn't watch LEC, this was played by G2 through the mid lane in a solo lane, so a very different scenario. But for SMLZ, he has the help of Cold on top Kench, and he has a bit of a CS lead as well, with Icon waiting in the brush and Doomby being poised to strike. Scatter the Weak will connect, but he gets the Justice Punch down in the middle for Shielded Ram, but Ragnarok first. Doomby Proto Belt on out. Icon wants a kill, but can't reach it with a nice pillar from Tien, and the Herald gets sorted back into it.
Fancy feed from Icon, though, to move around that play, and OMG might still be looking to contest
Might need
this.
to calm down. Death Sentence does connect. It is secured, I believe, by Tien. Yes, it was. Thumbs go up. They need a little thingy for Rippel, don't they?
Yeah.
They need a little, like with Baron, I need to see. But well done by Tien, and a flash committed by Hacker to try and steal that away.
And again, this is great from FPX. So they managed to get that. They managed to get away from the play as well before OMG can collapse with man advantage. But this is what we talked about. FPX are the ones in control in the early stage of the game. Because you're going for this AP Kog'Maw, you don't have consistent damage as of right now, although having that level 6 available now for SMLZ makes it a bit easier, but you run out of mana so quickly at the moment for the Kog'Maw that it's not really an option. And especially when we look towards OMG, who are great at kiting back, they're not great at CCing people down. All you've really got is that Syndra, that Scatter the Weak, to try and lock someone down. So if they're not able to get onto FPX, or at least have this poke land nice and early, well then FPX can just run away from the play.
I think now the nice thing is that OMG do have a lot of slow too. Slow is going to be crucial with the composition that we talked about, as Chris is going to be caught on out. Death Sentence lands on the Cold. He's all in because here comes the hero's entrance. Cold eats up Icon just in time as the heal. Doesn't matter because Shield of Duran connects. Cold takes the ulti. It's a bit short from LWX. Otherwise, Cold goes down there. FPX getting more proactive by the second.
Nice play from Crisp as well to read, look, I've got this resistances that can come in very quickly off of Doombee's ultimate. I can survive this return damage from Icon, but there we go.
Well, SMLZ is doing a bucket load already with the Lost Chapter. And Riptail going to be put down here now for LWX, who's going to benefit greatly off the gold. You talked about how he moves into this game. Bit of gold in the back pocket of this Aphelios will mean FPX have a 1k gold lead. And Doombee going to benefit off this as well. Actually, 160 to him. Never mind. LWX probably a bit angry.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of that play from FPX was to set up LWX. He's the main source of damage on this team. And that's the problem, is that that gold didn't go into him. So now OMG off of the pressure on bot side, or at least with FPX being out of position, trying to make this dragon work.
TP coming in. This is Renekton on Gimgoon. Flashes over the wall immediately on the Icon. Chris makes the flash. Death Sentence as well. That's the shock calling that gives FPX its name.
A fantastic play there to set everything up. LWX, though, has the Graviton, but not going to try and pop it on towards Cold. They're happy. They managed to get the kill. Dragon does go over to OMG, which does suck a little bit for FPX, but over getting those turret plates in the bottom lane, they're going to be okay.
Suck is the word I would use for sure. As Doombee got the kill again, and this was already a Protobelt Galio. Doombee is going to be bigger than that, as Tien just walking through turrets. Says, no, my camp. Thank you for the leash. And Tien just barreling through topside jungle.
Yeah, has the pressure there with Doombee. Look where Icon is. He was killed, so had to walk back into lane. So I think I've seen this before, Hysterics.
Curse does not respect this. The barrel for the chain and speed turns around onto Gimgoon. Tien is stuck between the wall. Curse is playing this so well. Walks now into Hacker for Tien. It's a 2 versus 2. Gimgoon doesn't have the dominance. The pillar sends Hacker over towards the turret.
That was beautifully played by Curse to just get away from that. And you can see why Gangplank does pretty well into this Renekton, able to turn back a lot of damage with the Phage and the Sheen there. So, yeah, exactly. So, Curse, but we talked about this in the opening of today, was Curse has been the standout performer for OMG. He's looked really good on the squad and has evened up this mid lane, or that's mid lane? That CS differentiation that we had in the top lane.
Yep.
So now I'm actually looking forward to seeing what Curse can do on this Gangplank, and if he can have the same cannon barrage impact that Gimgoon had in the last game.
Well, Gimgoon now looking for the solo kill at the very least. Gets the barrel down. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying solo kill in this lane for a while. I apologize. A bit of pressure, I should say, from Gimgoon, as Curse will get his grasp proc, but Gimgoon about half a level ahead, still ready to charge.
So OMG at the moment, look, they are 1,500 gold down, but they are going to be scaling really well into this game. So as long as they can keep this gold lead within arm's reach, they should be okay. But FPX are looking to try and fight against that, as that wave's about to collapse, and Doombee wants to go middle.
Over a ward, he's going to lens out. Ragnarok means he can't get the shield of Duran. Doombee running away. Good dodge from the Undertow, and the Justice Punch through the gap. The Winds of War adds a bit of damage onto Hacker. That was good to survive, but Doombee did have to use his Ghost.
Good call from Hacker there. You're not going to make plays in this bottom lane because it's going to be way too difficult with a Tam Kench and that Kog'Maw to actually set anything up for Doombee. It's the top lane they want to shut down.
Unleash power onto Tien. The hero's entrance used to give a bit of MR, but Tien was fine.
Yeah, it's about that magic shield that comes in, making sure that Tien's going to be okay. But
I thought Icon was too far forward there. the pillar could have been sent back, but the scatter of the week was nice. And even though Icon 0 and 2, in game 1, what we saw is his Syndra was piloted very nicely. As Chris now roaming up as well, Dagda, we're anting up here. I'm not sure that's a word for FPX.
And, I mean, Busta Rhymes said Andy up, so I'm going to assume that it is a word. But they are definitely starting to move towards this top side. Second Rift Herald is there. They want to make a play first, though.
Gimgoon into Dominus, maybe too far forward, but onto Curse, the damage available. Cannon Barrage layer down,
turret!
he takes the turret shot, but Curse lives! Corrupting Potion, maybe it was all a ruse. As Tien with the pillar going to get slowed down by the Undertow, and that was the biggest bunker W I've seen from Curse so far.
Calculated. So calculated from
moly.
Curse. I think he was just as surprised as we were by the tower shot. But it does mean the kill goes across. However, Gimgoon did get a decent amount of turnaround damage. Curse is too low to try and help out Hacker on this Rift Herald, but
Chris, a hook onto Cold, actually goes on in the death sentence. Play will pull him back in. The poke from SMLZ, dangerous. Guardian Shield used. Cold not going to really suffer too much, as Hill was burnt by the time Kench. So you'll take that Summoner if you're FPX, while they'll also take the Rift Herald if they can just keep whacking away at it.
Yeah, that would totally fine here. Cold was on his way up, but actually looks like OMG might be trying to make something happen.
Thank you for the Dark Passage. Chris is playing very well, the saving grace of FPX.
OMG backed away anyway. Curse wasn't in a position to try and contest. He would have been coming on his own. No cannon barrage, and very easy for FPX to just turn on towards the gangplank. And as well, SMLZ farming up in this bottom lane. He's not at a point where he's really relevant, so they're going to take it slow. Might be able to, unless Tien runs from top to bot, go for Dragon, but looks like FPX aware of this and want to try and make some sort of pressure.
I need to tell you, while the Herald's going down, SMLZ has a bounty with 0, 0, and 0. As first turret actually achieved by Gimgoon topside. Now setting up on top of Curse. Dominus not available, nor is Cannon Barrage though, and Gimgoon doing a great job trading. Well, Curse has to orange back up. Mid turret goes down as well. Trades for bottom where SMLZ gets solo turret experience. His bounty was there for like 30 seconds, by the way.
And that's what I was going to say, is that look at the CS numbers that SMLZ has right now compared to everyone else. So not only has he got a bunch of turret plates, the CS advantage, he's also now got a solo turret to himself. Like, this guy is looking really strong right now. You can see he finished off those Sork boots as well. Will be working up towards those few items to still come through, but SMLZ is doing a good job of realizing, I just need to farm right now and get to this late game.
What a game to play Cogmore. You have Cloud Soul. If you
true.
get Cloud Soul, your ability to reposition every time you spew at them is amazing. As Tien has position in the river, SMLZ going to put down a control ward and deny a bit of that. The Dragon won't be started yet, as SMLZ spotted out going for bottom side wave. But you can see OMG are on their wave towards bottom lane.
I think this is still going to be an FPX Dragon, though. I mean, unless he can make a pick as OMG, but the team fight here from FPX is still really strong, and especially as FPX are the ones that are first going towards this Dragon, they'll be in a great position to try and find some hooks from Crisp. And Tien actually already halfway through this Dragon. The TP coming in for both top laners.
That is, yeah, Gimgoon. You mentioned the other one as well. Curse hasn't made his way in for yet, and Dragon will be secured. Remember, 2 items, Doomby to lock down Hacker. Brings out Ragnarok. OMG grouped on up, but Doomby will be stopped in his track.
I actually misspoke there. It was one teleport coming in from Gimgoon. It was the back coming through from Curse. So OMG are like, you know what, actually, we're at a man disadvantage here. We don't want to make this play. So, as we said, hand over that Dragon towards the FPX side of things, but Curse will have his TP coming back up in a few moments, and they could potentially look for a Cannon Barrage into a TP play around some of these side lanes, but we'll have to see if they want to try and make that happen.
Curse is walking on in. Tien here, a good Jaws, but remember, it's not just about him. As the hero's entrance with the great pillar, lock down the Cannon Barrage on top, but shielded Duran. FPX, the mid 2v2, strong as ever.
Doomby just walking through the tower. He hasn't got any time for blast cones. He wants to push in. He wants to try and get this bottom lane tower for themselves. OMG, though, lock grouping up towards this top side to see if they can get on towards Gimgoon, but I don't know if they can try and answer as quick as FPX.
He's got Dominus. If he's under the turret, he should be fine. He's going to peek his head into the jungle, spots out Hacker, and pays the respect. OMG with no trade, 300 gold going over because of the turret. And FPX with the 2k gold lead here at 18 minutes in the game, heading towards a Cloud Soul. Now this is where things get tricky. In previous games we talked about this, the mid-game decision-making for FPX. We're hitting that point.
And it's not like FPX have the way that's drastically different to play out these team fights versus OMG, or play out the map state different to OMG's. They don't have a twisted phase. It's not like they're the ones with the gangplank who can be off in the side lane creating that pressure. It's FPX who need to be the ones that are going into these objectives and finding these fights, forcing OMG onto their terms. If they start to make these mistakes, if they start to give these advantages out to OMG, it's going to be so much more difficult for them this time around to try and find a way back into the game, because it's not like they've got these multiple teleports that they can try and catch out OMG.
And it seems like for FPX, you just should be looking at Doomby, right? The person that's picked up all the kills so far on FunPlus Phoenix's side, who has 2.5 items, 3-0 with a bounty, and he might be behind in CS, but every ulti bar one has been to set up these engages. FPX even getting deep vision towards this top side for now. Trying to get a pick towards OMG with Baron spawning. Threat very real. Good pillars from Tien so far this game as well. But dagged up, SMLZ, we're tracking these items. He does have the Seraph's Embrace already, and his CS continues to be greater than the clock. I think this is a 2-item Cogmore incoming.
Yeah, and look, you can see the wave clear, how difficult it is for FPX to deal with. So you got great wave clear in Curse, great wave clear in Icon, same with SMLZ. There's the Riley Crystal Scepter we were talking about. Perfect against the composition that FPX are going for. And this now makes it really difficult for FPX to find plays unless they can flex.
Doomby's running in, Justice Punch flashed away from with the Protobelt Shield of Duran not going to connect. Now with the Icy Hose, trying to bring Hacker up here. Scout of the Week wasn't available, and Doomby makes his grand escape. There's now for Curse in the 1v1 with Dominus available. Curse wants him. Will get grasped with the Undying, but moves away from the Cannon Barrage. Gimgoon smart not to go any farther forward against the Trinity Force GP.
You see though, Curse has control of this bottom lane now. This matchup has swung in favor of GP, which is bad for FPX because that timer is now so active for them where they need to try and make these objective fights happen. Otherwise, you can just have Curse run away with the side lane.
Orange, not really on that far of a cooldown as well, so close to full health. Well, Gimgoon has to back away. And now we wait for that next dragon, because a minute 10, that's the next objective, bar the Baron, that'll be spawning. And OMG have put their efforts towards the bottom side, so they have deep vision in FPX's red side jungle.
So, FPX are obviously going to try and fight for this next dragon to put themselves on towards that soul point. I'm curious to see how OMG are going to try and play this, because they can have either Curse just play off in a side lane and try and get this top lane turret down instead of that dragon, but you are giving it a lot of control then over to FPX, because obviously you're putting them onto soul points. So I imagine OMG are going to try and fight, but they're not exactly in the best of situations here, unless they make a pick.
Yeah, if they get Tien, I guess the situation will be great. Unleashed Pharaoh is available, holding it as Icon, but running into Hacker in a choke. Here comes the Aphelios ulti, and Doomby with Shield of Duran. OMG, you have poke. You do not want to group up in a choke versus FPX. You've just been absolutely blustered. As the flash forward here from Gimgoon will destroy Curse. The hero's entrance wasn't even needed, and SMLZ would be chased down like the arcane dog that he is, running away to the hills because OMG have just lost everyone.
And FPX can actually just turn straight over towards this Baron as well. There's still a lot of time before OMG come up, but looks like that's going to be the call that they're going for here. That was a terrible decision from OMG. As you rightly pointed out, they're the composition that wants to play at range for FPX. They don't want to be grouped in where you can give Doomby these great flank situations. Now, SMLZ trying to get this poke down, but it's not going to be enough.
There is teleport available for Icon. If he can survive and put it down, then maybe. But that's me being an optimistic, as they don't really care about SMLZ. The smite was used, and now another comes through. FPX with Baron. Icon running towards Chris, but with the Cannon Barrage laid down, Chris flashes away. Everyone survives, and FPX now with a 6k gold lead in this second game.
6k gold lead, Baron, they can start pushing, but this was the decision for OMG that broke the camel's back, because you're all funneling into this small, tiny area. Look where Doomby's positioned here as well. Like, this is the perfect way to stop OMG from being able to fight back. SMLZ just about manages to get out, as does Curse for a moment. But once FPX smell blood in the water, they just keep chasing.
Versus a Renekton, a Aphelios, and a Galio. You don't want to go in tight corridors. Doesn't matter what elo you are, you know that to be true. And now you have a Galio with 14 stacks on his Magi. Doomby bought that before the fight. He knew. He's got 4 items now, and yeah, if anyone gets caught by Doomby, whether it's Q or W, chances are you'll hit the deck. Because FPX have control. They've got a side laner who will feel fine against Curse after that fight. But with the Baron buff, Curse is preoccupied. And FPX now it's time to start hitting down turrets. As Crisp and LWX are grouping mid.
FPX's composition is so reliant on these Baron buffs as well, because you've got Curse, you've got Icon and SMLZ, as we talked about, a great wave clear, so they need this Baron to help them take down these structures. But as you can see, OMG are still doing a relatively good job of forcing FPX back, being able to clear these waves, and no turrets have gone down just yet, which is pretty massive for OMG.
Well, they're going to try and run in this choke themselves. Icon pops the Spellbinders. Tien is just playing with fire though. Pillar goes down, doesn't need the Dark Passage. LWX gets sped up towards mid lane with Shirelias. Infernum now available. OMG group once again. Icon's left in the mid. Here comes Gimgoon right on top of the Syndra, eaten up by Cold. While now the hero's entrance will jump onto 2 again. It's rinsing and repeating, Dagda. A double kill over to LWX. Curse TP'd in. It's 5 versus 3 for 30 seconds.
And again, OMG are getting caught out on these flanks for a composition that we talked about needs to play at range. They're not really setting themselves up correctly. It's giving avenues again for Doomby to look for flanks and push OMG back.
Zoning them all the way back to the inhibitor turret, which should be dropping as well, with LWX running on in. The Bio-Arcane Barrage from SMLZ easily dodged. An inhibitor will find its maker as well. With everything going right for FPX. And you know what, Dagda, you talked about a dominant game so far. This seems to be the one for FPX. Well, Tien used the subjugate. He's still getting poked on down. He wants to escape. The poke, massive though from OMG still. He'll have to flash over the wall while the rest of FPX get the inhibitor turret top side. Baron was still used so exceptionally well though. 26 minutes in the game. We're now to an 8k gold lead with Baron disappearing.
Yeah, and SMLZ is starting to show us why Kog'Maw can be potent when you're getting towards these 3 items, you know, that 25-minute mark that we were trying to point out, but it's too late now. You've already have a 7,000 gold lead over in favor of FPX. 1 inhibitor is down. You've lost your top lane inhibitor as well, and that Dragon Soul is about to come up for FPX as well. OMG are under so much pressure to try and find a miracle play, but the items are just not quite there for them.
Because you can imagine if we've seen the same plays at maybe 36 minutes in the game, right? 10 minutes later, where Syndra, the Kog'Maw that's been farming so well, with a GP that has set up as well. Then the choke would be theirs. They'd be like, who cares about a Renekton? The Galio's not going to get near us. But this early in the game, FPX have skyrocketed ahead 9 kills to 1. 40 seconds until the Cloud Soul. That could be theirs. And with a Galio with Cloud Soul and a Renekton, you get a similar kind of feeling. A lot of chase down here that FPX will utilize if they pick this next Dragon up.
And especially as we talked about the ability for FPX to get onto OMG, if OMG are set up correctly, is really difficult. But if you're able to pop Dominus and just run at them, it becomes a heck of a lot easier to find these flank positions.
That flank you mentioned. They're in a choke once again. LWX onto SMLZ. He gets eaten up by Cold, but the hook from Chris. Luckily, it is QSS'd away. Cold will slowly walk away. But that now should be Dragon.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Icon's in top lane. He's going to have to back. He's low in mana before he can try and join in this fight. But you know what FPX said? We'll take an L turret on our way out before we go towards this Dragon.
It's just going to be done by LWX and Tien off the screen. Chris zoning between as Icon just wants something in this game that's running away from them. Cloud Soul obtained. Elder coming up in 5 minutes. Or rather 6. Another Baron in a minute as well. And, you know, we were talking about scaling a little earlier, how the Kog'Maw works in the GP2. We're still far away from that point. Feels like we need to see a couple more fights before we can get there. Or a couple more minutes at least.
I mean, you even have a couple more minutes here. FPX have got all the Cloud Souls. They're now going to be able to set up their vision control in around the Baron. And with how poor the vision control has been from OMG in trying to hold back FPX, spot out Gimgoon on these flanks, spot out Doomby on these flanks, I don't have confidence in OMG now going in towards this pit to be like, oh yeah, cool, this is the fight where we'll get to see how this OMG composition is orchestrated. And look, it's something that we've talked about a lot in the LPL is that oftentimes easy to function compositions end up winning out. And for OMG, this is a little bit too beyond what they're capable of in this series.
Oh, okay. All right, Dagda. Hey, I'm not disagreeing with you there. We do have 3-item Cogmore, though. It has been nice to see SMLZ returning to, you know, something a little bit different. He's always been the AD carry willing to test. And SMLZ has been doing a lot of damage. 325 CS at 29 minutes in the game. He's been doing what he needs to do, and he hasn't been caught out, which is another positive. It's FLICKR against a pillar. FPX are coming in again. Uh-oh. Through the choke. 3-man Heroes entrance. And the heroes of FPX rising to the occasion. Icon against the wall, flashes away. Doomy is so fast with the Cloud Soul, and Curse with the pillar lockdown will die as well. That'll be all she wrote. And finally, Dagda, FPX will head towards that potential 2-0.
I mean, I don't even think it's potential anymore. It is most certainly there for FPX. The 2-0 over OMG. And just maybe, with Gimgoon back in, FPX are on the run.
Well, everyone's going to say because of Gimgoon. And to be fair, this game, he played a lot better as FPX 2-0 OMG. The curse is lifted. Just not for OMG.
And look, FPX played a much cleaner game that series, where they were able to find a lot of these flanks that oftentimes were given to